Ever since the first Brits landed in Oz over 200 years ago, thousands of us have given up warm pints and cold weather for a new life in the sun. And over the last 2 years, I've helped 10 families make the big move. We've had drama.
Come on, come on!
We've had tears.
This could be it.
But we've had plenty of cause for celebration.
We have a deal. Hey!
And now I'm back to see some of my first recruits to discover how they've got on. I'm in Sydney, where Army man John Sharples decided to settle after years of moving his family around the globe. Though this was no easy search, thanks to a very tight budget and 3 generations under one roof.
I would have liked an extra space for a bedroom, not a bed sit.
I want to see how it's all worked out.
It's obviously been a real labour of love.
Yeah, we've been at it every weekend.
Every weekend?
Every weekend.
And find out what Nana Jones been up to.
I thought when I got here I would get a part-time job, but I haven't got time.
I'm also being measured up by Melbourne's Aussie Rules team, who aren't exactly declaring me match fit. And I'm on property walkabout with a wife, seeing if there's anything out here that catches our eye. Well, when in Rome...
It is the ultimate. I have to say it's the best house I've ever been in, and I've been in some pretty expensive ones.
It's absolutely breathtaking.
Welcome back to Australia!
For the last 20 years, I've been making Australia a regular destination. After all, many marvellous things come out of this great country. Everything from Ugg boots, stubby holders and Speedos to my gorgeous wife Fiona. I also know its property market inside out, thanks to our dream of one day buying somewhere out here. And 2 years ago, I began using this knowledge to help intrepid Brits start to build a brand new life down under. That's when I first met John and Jeanette Sharples, who after 10 years of constantly moving around the globe because of his job, decided to pack up the kids and the mother-in-law so they could finally put down roots in Sydney.
For many Brits migrating to Australia, it involves a tearful goodbye to family and friends back in Blighty. But for the Sharples, it was anything but.
With its grand, iconic architecture and world-famous festivities, you'd be forgiven for thinking Sydney's the capital of Australia. It certainly acts like it is. The most expensive and most populated city in the country, Brits can't get enough of the beaches, boats and laid-back way of life. More than 150,000 of us Poms live in Sydney, and I'm about to add another 5. The Sharples met 14 years ago when Army Warrant Officer John was posted to Cyprus, where Jeanette worked for the Ministry of Defence. Since then, John's career has taken them all over the world.
Amesbury.
Bulford.
Then we moved to Glasgow.
From there we went over to Fallingbostel in northern Germany.
Hereford, Germany for 2 years.
Following that we went out to Washington DC.
But with 2 children now at school, the Sharples want to put down permanent roots, and married military quarters doesn't quite cut it.
My daughter's 8 years old and she's had 4 schools in her life, so that's what we're trying to avoid.
John has swapped the British Army for the Australian Army, and the Sharples have moved to Cromer on the other side of the world, a beautiful suburb in the northern beaches area of Sydney. The setting is picture perfect, but after 8 years of military magnolia, Jeanette just wants a home she can call her own.
We've lived in a number of different married quarters, and I'm so desperate to have my own house. I am so fed up with moving every 2 years. To be able to do something, make it a home rather than a house, decorate, give the children their own bedrooms, paint them. It's been a long dream. Very excited, very excited. I can't wait.
John and Jeanette have a very practical approach to their search. Having already kicked off the kids' education in Cromer, they want their new family home to be within 25 minutes drive of the school gates. Given everything that Australia's largest city has to offer, this does actually make for a very small search area. And there's an added complication. John's mum, Joan, is moving in too, and she wants an annex of her own.
There are houses out there, but of course the ideal ones are well out of our bracket. You're talking like 1.5 million, so if we could find something like that for half the price, that would be okay.
So whilst Nana Joan has her head in the clouds looking for a house within a house, John and Jeanette have their feet firmly on the ground. For them, it's all about practicalities. Room for the kids to grow, room for the kids to play, plus large living and storage spaces. The budget is £335,000, and that poses something of a problem. Round these parts, that figure only buys a fairly standard 3-bed bungalow. Now, my challenge is that John and Jeanette also want a granny annex, and it seems that the extra square footage is just not in the budget. What about the one on... And just as I've arrived in Sydney, the property market here has been named one of the least affordable in the whole world, with average house prices 8 times that of an average income. So with that in mind, finding a family home within budget's certainly going to be tricky. They're really going to need some help. I better get cracking. Time to meet the family at the military quarters they've been renting for the last 6 months. Anyone home? John. Hello, I'm Phil.
Really nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
This is Jeanette.
Hi, pleased to meet you.
How'd you do? I'm clear what John and Jeanette want, but I've been caught out by multi-generational searches in the past, so I'm going straight to the person who I suspect could be calling the shots. What's going on out here? Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Joan, I'm Phil.
Pleased to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. You must be Jack?
Yeah.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi. Well, Joan, I know part of this search is all about you and your requirements as well. What sort of things are going to make it work for you, Joan?
A kitchen, my own bedroom, my own sitting space, really.
So living room, kitchen, bedroom, door.
Ideally, it would be that I could have my own door and come and go,
Yeah.
the same as the rest of the family can do their own thing.
Well, we're going to head off, the three of us. Do you trust us to get it right?
Yes, yes, I do, yes.
There was hesitation. I noticed.
Always hesitation.
I really trust Jeanette.
Okay.
I do trust Jonathan,
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Well, I suspected Army man John would be regimented in his approach to the house hunt, but there's no messing with Nana Joan either, is there? She's a force to be reckoned with. House number 1, reporting for duty, sir. This is a house of 2 halves. Split neatly between 2 floors, the family would live downstairs and Nana Joan upstairs, with her own front door, plus cooking, dining, living, bathing and sleeping quarters. But it's not all about Nana, of course. We're just 20 minutes walk from the children's primary school here, and with 3 good-sized bedrooms, ample living space and a large enclosed garden, this is a practical pad for John and Jeanette too. Now, I thought I wanted to start, Jonathan, with something that I think that might suit your mum. Whether the house will suit you as much as it suits her will be up to you to tell me. But I know that she's put a lot of trust in me and in all of us to make this decision, so I thought I would start with something that I think will suit her quite well.
OK.
At £341,000, it is £12,000 over what the Sharples could stretch to. But I reckon I could do a deal and make the house work for the whole family. Come on in. Quite a big hallway. Some might say it's a little bit too big, but we'll tackle that in a minute. Go on through to the kitchen. Ground floor accommodation is all family accommodation. Mother-in-law or mother is up above, and there's really good space up here. It's a little bit tight down here, so I think that's the compromise.
Right.
20 people have come around this house, no one's made an offer,
Right.
which says to me it's too expensive.
Yeah.
And the living is compromised to a great extent by this staircase, which, if I was buying the house, I would spend, and literally it would only be $1,000. Take the staircase out, you don't need it. That's the annex, and there is a separate access to it from around the side of the house.
Well, I suppose if you not, all this was gone, if you extended the kitchen out as a sort of breakfast bar, and you could have that then as a kitchen diner, and then just utilise this as the lounge.
It's still very small, isn't it? I mean,
It's still
even putting
smaller than what
furniture
we're
in, it's
living in at the moment.
very small. We were hoping for something a bit bigger, weren't we?
Yeah.
So the downstairs isn't winning any medals, but wait till they see the upstairs.
So this is the granny annex.
Yes.
This is nice. This is huge.
Yeah.
This
See
is
what we want
huge.
downstairs.
So
So the annex is essentially, I mean, it's almost half the house.
Yeah.
Bedroom, own bathroom, she wanted a big shower.
Oh, this is perfect for what she was after. This is perfect for if the house was bigger downstairs.
Yeah.
Be ideal, wouldn't it? Absolutely perfect.
This is actually the only one that I've got on my books where the annex is completely ready to move into. The bathroom's in it, the kitchen's in it, it's set to go. What the challenge is trying to find the happy medium between what you need and what she needs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
She'd
as
love
you say, this
this,
is
wouldn't she?
perfect
Yeah.
for what my mum's after, or what we're looking for my mum. But
Downstairs, it's just a bit too much of a compromise, isn't it?
Well, I'm not going to be the one to disappoint her. I don't want to tell her that.
oh, we won't mention this.
Joan, we found something perfect for you, but Jonathan won't have it.
Well, I'm glad we're laughing, but they're not going to find another ready-to-move-into granny annex like this one. Still, at least I know where their priorities lie.
Well, you know, I wonder whether Jonathan will even tell his mother about my #1 granny annex and the fact that they've blown it completely out of the water straight off. Somehow, I think not. The joys of working for extended families.
And that's not all that's troubling me down under. If you fancy finding out about sporting jobs in Oz, then tonight I'll be doing the hard work for you. I'll be taking my wife Fiona to look round my favourite house of all time in Byron Bay.
It's the best house I've ever been in, and I've been in some pretty expensive ones.
It's absolutely breathtaking.
And hoping my last house makes a better impression on John and Jeanette than I do.
Oh no, there's a stranger in there already. I thought you said it was a nice area.
Over the last few weeks, I've been giving you the inside guide to life in Australia. Whilst I've been out here, I've seen some amazing places, and to be perfectly honest, it's making me more than a little envious. So I wanted to see what Fiona and I could achieve if we ever wanted our own piece of paradise. And I know just where I want to look.
This is my favourite spot in the entire world, Byron Bay. Every time that we come here, we always dream and fantasise about one day whether we could own a little slice of paradise, just a little plot. We're going to find out if it's ever going to be possible.
480 miles north of Sydney, Byron Bay is the most easterly point of the Australian mainland. It's also one of the most beautiful. It's the perfect surfer hangout, and I've never been anywhere more relaxing in my life. Owning a holiday home here would be a dream come true. So how easy is it for a British investor to buy a property down under?
Bulldoze that house.
There's a plot. Wow.
It's $4.5
million for the plot.
If you're based in the UK, you can employ an independent representative who will view and select potential investment properties on your behalf. Having found the right one, you'll need to get the go-ahead from the Australian Foreign Investment Review Board. A lot more houses are sold through auction in Oz, but you can always put in a cheeky offer beforehand to try and tempt the vendor. If you do buy, you'll be taxed on any rental income you receive. But don't stress, there are some incentives to encourage foreign investors that can be used to reduce the tax you end up paying.
I could genuinely sit here for weeks on end looking at that view. I could very happily have breakfast in this cafe every day for the rest of my life.
For me, Byron is all about the beach. Trouble is, round here, if you want a glimpse of the sea, then you can wave goodbye to your checkbook. What's more, if you're a British resident buying a rental property or holiday home down under, the Aussie government state that you have to buy a brand new house or build your own.
I hear you've got a bit of a project on here.
Just a little bit of one, yes.
The views are amazing.
I'm meeting John Henderson, who built this heavenly house overlooking the bay. With 180-degree views looking over the sea, the lighthouse and the mountains, my perfect pad down under.
Are we okay to have a wander around? Why not? Admire this.
Fantastic. Great.
It is just mouth-watering.
I'd move in tomorrow, quite happily.
I might not even leave today.
The house has been valued at just under £5 million, and I think it's worth every penny.
Well, this is the ultimate, it really is. I have to say it's the best house I've ever been in, and I've been in some pretty expensive ones.
It's absolutely breathtaking. The views and the house. A mini version of this would be great.
Would it just? Yes.
Struth! I better get back to work. Or buy a lottery ticket. Or for that matter, buy 10 lottery tickets. If you want more information, then log on to channel4.com/4homes. After a decade of army housing around the world, John and Jeanette Sharples are desperate for a permanent place to call their own. They found their dream location. It's Cromer in Sydney's northern beaches, where kids Rebecca and Jack have enrolled at school. And they brought Nana Joan along to share their Aussie dream. Problem is, they just blew my best granny annex property right out the water, leaving me all at sea. Which means I'm taking a bit of a gamble with my next house. Forget views, setting, a sense of community. It's become pretty clear that what John and Jeanette really care about is space. So this house has more than double the living space of the last one and is closer still to the all-important kids' school in Cromer. It has 3 bedrooms upstairs and options for the granny annex downstairs.
Nice looking house. It looks brick built.
Yeah.
Which is always a bonus.
Yeah.
Practical. I just hope they've got enough imagination to make this work. The good news is it offers over £311,000. There's £20,000 in the budget for building work.
OK, see what you make of this. We've got first reception room.
Uh-huh.
Second reception room in there. And a really...
Oh, wow. Wow.
Very big kitchen diner.
I think that is a good size, isn't
Huge, isn't it?
And then there's another sort of
Wow.
family room here.
That's nice and bright, isn't it?
I reckon a £4,000 refurbishment would bring these 2 rooms right up to the standard of the first granny annex we saw. And another £4,500 out the back would turn this into a blinding family room with views over the garden.
So that gives you a sense of what the ground floor accommodation is, and I think we can get your mum in down here. There's a number of different ways of splitting it up. I'm imagining that you close that up a bit. You come. That's the main door for Joan's flat.
Yeah.
Quite a nice shower unit could go in here. The kitchen's through there, so the plumbing's all there, nice and simple. Kitchen, seating area, and we use the room through there as her bedroom.
Yeah.
That would be more than
that's
enough for her.
Which would still give you big kitchen diner and an adult room to the right of the reception as we came in.
Yep. Because it is that much different from the last place and having to knock through there and do there. It's, yeah, I'm trying to get my head around what that involves. I suppose it's not too much inconvenience for us at all. As we said before, we want to live in this until the kids sort of leave the nest. So it will be more of a long-term investment, you know, for later on in life, if you like.
Well, they seem to be seriously considering it, but it's a somewhat reserved military approach. I'm splitting our cautious couple up to see what really gets their blood pumping.
I know that you've dreamt of this, the first purchase, for such a very long time. As you've been dreaming, has there been an ideal? Has there been, you know, what's in your mind's eye?
Well, the ideal would be, you know, the 3 bedrooms. We'd have preferably 4 for us, so we have a guest bedroom as well. Obviously, the annex for Joan, you know, with her bedroom, her shower room, her lounge, kitchenette, whatever. A large garden. We need a large garden for the kids.
That all sounds very practical.
Yes, well, I mean,
Are you genuinely practical people?
we are practical people, and having moved about so much, you know, we know sort of what we need, what we like, what we don't like.
But what do you love?
What do I love?
Because-
Space, more than anything, I think.
I think I'm going to have to work a bit harder on Jeanette. I'd love to believe this house is a contender. I'm just not convinced yet. So I'm going to challenge them on location. Jeanette admitted to me that she hasn't found it as easy to settle into Cromer as she has in other military locations John's work has taken them to. So I'm advancing the search 4 miles west of Belrose, an area popular with young families thanks to its good transport links, shopping centres, theatre and national parks. Immediately, this feels like a suburb the Sharples could really settle into, and I think they'd be very happy here.
What I quite liked about the area, in comparison with Cromer, and I don't want to take anything away from Cromer at all, but Cromer doesn't seem to have a centre to it.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
Whereas Belrose does. So there's a lot going on for the community. There's a lot of community groups. There seems to be a lot of interaction amongst the community. So I like to feel that would work quite well for you and also for Joan.
Yeah, definitely, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's the sort of thing that we want out of a life here, isn't it?
Here we're looking at a nice big corner plot. House sits in the middle of it.
Yeah,
It's okay, doesn't it? Plenty of parking.
Parking? Give me strength. This is a spectacular house. Sitting pretty on a quiet corner plot with playing fields over the fence, this three-bedder has substantial living space for the family in one building, and the biggest bonus, an entirely separate annex with potential for conversion in the garden. No surprise then, it's stretching the budget and offers over £335,000. But just like in Britain, there's always a deal to be done in Oz.
Right, well, another open-plan living space.
This is nice.
It's very nice.
This is the living space. There isn't another one. So, again, we are trying to deal with one adult and child-friendly space.
Right, okay.
So I'm really keen to learn where your hearts lie in terms of location or square footage.
The way I look at it is that possibly square footage outweighs location slightly.
I don't know. I'd find that hard to agree with because I haven't actually thought about location. We've been thinking about the house, been thinking about the space, because space is obviously going to be a big thing with all of us living together. And to be honest, the location side of it hadn't come into it. I think probably because we've lived where we've been told to live.
Yeah.
We've got no choice. We lived there for 2 years, and then that's it. So it's never really come down to a choice of location for me. But it's quite exciting to think that does actually come into it.
And bear in mind, of course, this is your own home. Your mother has looked after out the backs, completely separate.
Yeah. See, that would be a real plus, wouldn't it? Because the kids can be quite... I mean, they're only small, so they can be quite noisy and, you know, it would work a lot better if she was completely separate. For her more than us, but it looks good all round, doesn't it?
Help yourself out the back. Have a wander. Things are looking up, which is about time too.
Oh my word. This is nice, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
There's loads of scope for improvement here, but if the Sharples do decide to go for it, they'll need to get planning advice on exactly how far they can develop the annex to suit Nana Joan. Every region has different planning rules and regulations, so if you're thinking about making changes, it's always worth getting local professional advice before buying.
Oh, wow.
So
That's great. That's got
there's
plumbing and
access
everything.
through.
That could then either be configured as a kitchen or probably better to do a kitchen. Oh, no, there's a stranger in there already.
I'll come round.
Strange man loitering. I thought you said it was a nice area.
What do you reckon?
It's wonderful.
Yeah, this has got everything we could possibly want.
Wow, what a turnaround.
Well, very positive feedback, guys.
It was good. It was lovely.
Yeah.
I think
Lovely.
it
I like
ticks
this.
90% of the boxes that we had, which is
That's
pretty
high.
good. Yeah.
It
That's
does.
high, John.
It does. It's good, isn't it? I think the thing is to see if Joan's happy with that.
But coming up, when Nana Joan joins the ranks, it's not exactly happy families.
I would have liked an extra space for a bedroom, not a bedsit.
And when I get my hands on some oddly shaped balls, there's not a man in Melbourne who isn't jealous of my tackle. Ah! If there's one thing that defines the Aussie way of life, it's their total obsession with sport. And when we're over here, my family's no different, whether we're catching a wave or chasing wickets. Last year alone, over 75,000 Australians were employed in the sports industry.
But there is one sport they're not so good at. Football. But at least not our kind of football, anyway.
Aussie rules football is the most popular spectator sport. They've taken the rules of football and rugby, mixed them together, and in true Aussie style, turned them upside down to create a game with more bite than a 10-foot croc. It's also a game that's been causing me grief ever since I met my Australian wife, Fiona. This is my father-in-law, Len Mann.
Man coming in, playing that kick behind.
And this is him playing for Melbourne Football Club back in 1960. That's about the equivalent of playing for Manchester United in the UK. He's been giving me grief over my ball skills for years.
Bloody hopeless.
Can't be that difficult.
Bloody hopeless. Phil has got heaps to learn. For a start, he's too slow, so I've got to improve his fitness level. I think he might have put on a pound over here.
Whilst I'm here, I want to give you an inside look at the Aussie sports industry. And what better way than hooking up with my father-in-law's old club, the Melbourne Demons.
And it was a good play by Robertson.
I'm meeting up with one of their star players, Russell Robertson, for a bit of friendly advice and to find out what the sport industry out here could offer you.
I tried to get my father-in-law to teach me how to bounce the ball, and I could not get it right. So I'd love to learn a bit about that.
Firstly, if you're bouncing the ball, it's all in the wrist so that it comes back at you. All in the wrist, mate, all in the wrist. So give it a go. Not too bad. There we go. Didn't take you long at all. Yeah, just stop now. You've got it.
I think I'm getting the hang of this.
You're going to kick the goal, that's going to be 6 points. Remember, drop punt, spinning backwards.
I can't miss.
Right through the middle. Can't miss from here.
Oh, nearly did as well.
There's a goal. He's a natural. Someone sign him up. Where's the coach?
I reckon I've nailed this. Time to take my rightful place in the team. I'm sure I'll be more than a match for them. Yeah, right.
Doesn't matter. Come on, Phil.
I'll tell you what, I'll be giving my father-in-law a run for his money next time I see him.
Oops.
Or maybe not.
Mate, the way you mark that, the way you move, I'm sure you get a game down in Oz, mate.
I've had enough.
Look, I reckon you've earned your pay packet. Go and have a massage, hit the showers, mate. You've done really well.
I'm out of here, thank you.
While not everyone can be an Aussie rules player, me especially, there are plenty of other jobs that could be your ticket into Australia. Everything from physiotherapy to bricklaying. For more information, log on to our website at channel4.com/4homes. Back in 2009, I helped the Sharples family look for a 4-bedroom family home with granny annex in New South Wales. Military man John had just joined the Australian Army, and the whole family, including Nana Joan, had moved to Sydney in search of their first permanent property in 10 years. Later, I'll be finding out how they're all getting on, but first, back to the house hunt. My biggest challenge with John and Jeanette after years of living in military housing is to get them thinking about something other than simple square footage. I want them to think about the importance of location, community, neighbours. As the song goes, everybody needs good ones. By pushing them on area, I've already shown them a 3-bedder with separate space for Joan in a neighbourhood much loved by young families. And for Jeanette, the pennies dropped.
The location side of it hadn't come into it. I think probably because we've lived where we've been told to live. It's quite exciting to think that does actually come into it.
They both agreed this could be the house for them. But now I know it's possible to stretch on the search area, I want to show them something a little bit extra special. Just 10 minutes from the last house, with the same cosy community feel and benefiting from the same national parks, playing fields and community centres. This 3-bed might not have a separate annex, but it does have a much larger living space, bigger bedrooms, a huge wing for Joan with separate bed, bath and living areas, plus a pool. The only thing it's lacking is a garden out back, one of John and Jeanette's original requirements.
For what it's worth, I happen to really like this.
At offers over 322 grand, it's under budget. And I've got a good feeling about this one.
After you, Jeanette. You've got a lot of space in this house. You've got a lot of cosmetic decoration to do, but you've got the space to do it.
It's bigger, a lot bigger than the last place, isn't it?
And I think it could become even bigger, actually. There's a lot of space that I changed this. Look, that's just a cupboard. There's another cupboard there. And there's another cupboard in the kitchen. So all of that is hollow.
You just knock the whole thing away.
Knock the whole thing
Wow.
out. You've just gained 100 square foot into your main living room. There's room here for everyone to spread out. There's opportunity to create value, to add value, whilst making your own stamp.
Yeah.
It's not complicated work.
No.
It needs decorating fairly instantly.
Yeah.
But it's...
I'm glad you said that.
Yippee! Big smiles at last. It's understandable they'll be cautious after almost a decade off the property ladder. But I think if anything's going to tip them over the edge, it's the potential of the granny annex and that amazing pool.
OK, so this is where Joan's accommodation starts. Bedroom.
Good size, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's got robes.
Bathroom and her living room.
So she's got quite a lot more space here.
She does, doesn't she? And it's totally... Shut that door and this is hers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think...
Apart from when you noisy lot are in the pool.
Well, yeah.
Oh, she'll be the noisy one in the pool. It's a good pool, isn't it?
That's a nice pool, isn't it?
It's a very big pool.
It's a lovely pool.
Yeah.
Just
Well, when
seeing
I left the
everything.
last one, I was thinking, yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I'm back to square one with this. It's now between the two, I think.
So they really love this one as well, and it would definitely work for Joan. But it is a huge decision, and if anyone's going to weigh it up with military precision, it's these two.
Do you know, I thought the last house was really nice. I really, really liked it, and we could move in.
Well, you could move straight into that place, couldn't you? And this place is a lot more work, but I think it's got a lot more potential.
There's more space. There's a lot more space. There's a lot more space between the bedrooms. There'll be a lot of space in the lounge. So your mum's got a lot of space.
Yeah.
Come here. Australia's national treasure, Kookaburra. Come to see what we're up to. He's probably laughing at us. Give us a laugh, mate. You're not going to make me imitate you, are you? They're smiling. Two smiles.
Yeah. I like it. I like
So
it.
do I.
But I like the pool, and I kind of think if it didn't have the pool, where would it fit then?
Pool is a nice to have, it's not a must. Your original requirements to me were garden, gotta have a great garden.
Yes, yes.
So I guess I don't want you to be blown away by the pool.
Yeah.
And allow that to steer you off your well-considered course. That said, I think it's an absolutely fantastic house and there's a ton you could do with it.
Yeah.
And what we don't know, the missing piece of the jigsaw, is Joan's comments on her annex back at Bell Road. So
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
probably that's what we should do next.
Yeah, I think
I think so, yeah. We'll still have the last word then.
Of course, Jonathan. Come on.
Well, you've got to admire its confidence, but something tells me the final word really does go to Nana Joan. So a few hours later, we're back at property number 3.
Hi, team.
Hello!
Let's just hope this viewing doesn't end with a family feud.
You have to remember, Rebecca, that this furniture wouldn't be ours, OK? You'd have your own bed and your own chest of
big
drawers.
bed could go up here, your cabin bed, couldn't it?
What do you think?
It's the only property that I've been able to find where it is completely separate.
Right.
There's a bathroom at that end. There's also plumbing at this end. So that could be a little kitchenette or something.
And this is the main room.
Yeah.
The only room. So
Yes, the only room. One idea I'd had was actually changing the door and shifting the door up that way and then separating off a bedroom.
yes.
So you came in there to your sitting area and came through into your bedroom. Or you could perhaps have a screen if you wanted some separation between sleeping and sitting.
And this is a bathroom down the other
help
end.
yourself.
Crikey, this is not what John and Jeanette were hoping for. Or me, for that matter. I'm under pressure here.
I would have liked an extra space for a bedroom, not a bed sit. But
So it's no-go for Nana. And it looks like Jonathan and Jeanette have had second thoughts as well.
Well, actually, while you guys were inside, we were talking about it as well. We've sort of come to the conclusion that we feel that we might just outgrow this in about 5 years' time. There's just not quite enough room inside and then the main living area.
So whilst this property is good for today, there's a concern that it might not still be good in 5 or 10 years' time, and you are looking for a long-term home.
We are, yeah.
Whereas the other house in French's Forest needs a bit of work, needs some money spending on it, but you can grow into, and you can see yourself there for a far longer time.
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Not being swayed by the swimming pool?
A little,
well,
I think.
I think the kids will love the pool, but I just think it's got more potential.
OK, decision made. After offers over £322,000, it's a huge step, and they're not comfortable going in at the asking price. So I'm kicking off negotiations with a bid of £320,000.
Helen, good morning. It's Phil Spencer.
But they're not the only ones who've fallen in love with the house.
I hear there's a bit of interest mounting.
And there's bad news. John and Jeanette's offer has been matched by another interested party. I've got to try and strengthen our bid in other ways, but it's not working.
How do I demonstrate their seriousness and ability to compete? Might we be able to engineer a situation in order to wrap it up today that we said at 3 o'clock, everybody, or the two parties' best bids needed to be on the table, and that was a one-shot, one-hit wonder?
Sealed bids isn't usually how it's done out here, but if I can convince the agent to go for it, it'll stop us getting into a bidding war with the other buyer.
4 o'clock, best bids on the table. And can I therefore take it that after 4 o'clock, no further bids will be entertained? Pleasure. Bye-bye.
John and Jeanette have been so cautious during this search, but now it's time to fight their corner. If they really want this house, they need to go in with a strong offer. Finally, we agree on £324,600. It's only £2,500 more than the offer's over asking price, so all we can do is bite our nails and hope to goodness the other interested buyer doesn't bid more. Finally, the agent calls me and I call Jeanette.
There you go. Hello.
Jeanette, hi, it's Phil. I've just been talking with the agent.
Okay.
And the news is good. The house is yours.
Joking?
No.
Joking?
Yeah, all yours.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God, I'm stunned. Thanks very much.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Jeanette.
Bye.
Coming up, it's 2 years on and I'm back.
Jonathan! Nice to see you. Hello, Jeanette.
Nice to see you.
I'll find out how 3 generations have coped under one roof.
If I want to creep in without them knowing, I have to creep under the window.
And whatever's become of their doer-upper.
It's a bit different. Is this the same house?
I'm back in sunny Sydney, where 2 years ago I helped military man John Sharples and his family to put down permanent roots. After years of moving around the globe from one army posting to another, John, his wife Jeanette and the kids Rebecca and Jack had never had somewhere to call their own.
I was so desperate to have my own home rather than a house, decorate. It's been a long dream.
My mission was to find them a permanent base, big enough for the entire family and Nana Joan, which eventually brought us here, to what can only be described as a diamond in the rough.
It needs decorating fairly instantly.
Yeah.
But it's...
I'm glad you said that.
Fortunately, John was a man with vision, and just 1 hour after moving in decided to make a start on the renovations. I love it when a plan comes together. But a few years on, how have the Sharples family coped with both renovation and with being such a long, long way from home? Time to find out.
Well, here we are. This is it. 2 years on. I've come back to see what they've done and how they've all settled in together.
I just hope they don't hand me a paintbrush and ask for help with the decorating.
Jonathan!
Nice to see you, Phil.
Nice to see you. Hello, Jeanette.
Nice to see you.
Excellent. Very great to be here.
Oh, fantastic
Nice
to see you.
Nice to show you around what we've done to the house.
It's a bit different. Is this the same house?
Oh, wow. We've made it the odd change.
Blimey.
Go back 2 years and this house was trapped somewhere in the 1970s. Today, John and Jeanette have done an incredible job and the transformation is stunning. The lounge that was wallpapered within an inch of its life has been turned into one very contemporary living room. Meanwhile, the kitchen that demonstrated all that was wrong with Louvre doors and the 70s is not only extremely modern, but looks about twice the size. As for the bathroom that was retro, but not in a good way, well, check this out. It's now like walking into a hotel. The bedrooms too have undergone a dramatic makeover, ensuring that Mum, Dad and the kids all have what they've wanted for years, somewhere to finally call their own.
It's obviously been a real labour of love, John.
Oh, it has. It's so nice to walk in and think, oh, yeah, I remember skimming that wall. That's
the thing. I think it's a lifetime of satisfaction and fulfilment.
You know, we've been at it every weekend. It's
every weekend?
Well, with the odd one off now and
weekend.
again, but most weekends.
Every weekend.
For John, moving to Sydney has also meant being able to spend quality time with his brother Martin, who emigrated here 19 years ago. Though when he says quality time, what he actually means is DIY.
It's been brilliant being close to Martin. I hadn't seen him for a while, and now I see him all the time, which might be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. You have to ask him.
Has its moments. Well, it's been a long time since we were all together, and it's worked out really well, other than the fact that I've spent half my life helping to build a house.
So despite starting a new life down under, John's actually surrounded by family. He's got Martin helping with the DIY, Jones living in, and he has another brother just a few hours away in New Zealand. Though for Jeanette, it's a little tougher as some of her nearest and dearest are 10,000 miles away.
John doesn't have any ties in the UK at all, whereas all my family are there.
Okay.
So for me, it's not quite as cut and dry as John.
Yeah.
You know, I do miss UK, I do miss my family.
And I guess having spent so much time doing the house up, you probably haven't got back to the UK.
It's the longest stretch actually without seeing my family.
Okay.
It'll be 3 years, which is it's always been
long.
once a year. Yeah, I do find it's a bit long. I mean, I'm not, you know, I love the lifestyle we've got out here. I'm happy, but there's I still have that need.
What about Jack and Rebecca?
They've settled in really, really well. They've got loads of friends. We've got a great school just up the road, walking distance up the road.
They're enjoying it, they're loving it. Spend all summer in the pool.
But let's not forget the other member of this family, Nana Joan, who after almost 7 decades of calling the UK home, took a chance that Australia was going to be the best place to spend her retirement. Fortunately, it's a decision that's really paid off, as she seems to have blossomed into a social butterfly.
Yeah, he's still there.
No, this isn't her new boyfriend, just a friend. But from what I hear, these days you're lucky to even catch her at home.
We don't see a lot of her, really, do we? She's always out gallivanting with her new friends and everything.
Yeah.
I think she's out about 4 nights a week at least.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She's really settled in well.
She's never in.
I'm very envious of her social life, actually, at the moment.
You've been hard at work.
Today, at least, she's reasonably easy to find, as her designer granny flat's just down the hall.
Anyone home?
Hello.
I was told I should knock. Hello, Joan. Hello. Wow, you look fantastic.
Thank you. You don't look so bad yourself.
Oh, you're very kind. So this is home.
It is.
It's a bit different, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Before John went mad with his toolkit and paintbrush, Joan's bedroom was definitely a little drab. But today it's the height of fashion. And again, he's worked more than a little magic in the bathroom, which is now unrecognisable. As for the living room, it's travelled 40 years into the future, and they've even found the space for a brand new kitchen. Though by far the biggest change is in Joan herself, with a new circle of friends and a new lease of life. She's practically unstoppable.
I thought when I got here that I would get a part-time job, but I haven't got time. I made some really nice friends.
It's actually quite a social scene.
It certainly is.
And if you think she's in bed by 9 every night with a cup of hot cocoa, think again.
It took me a little while to find out how to get in after I'd been out for the evening. Instead of coming in the front door and being checked on by my son,
Yes.
I now come round the back door.
Okay.
So if I want to creep in without them knowing, I have to creep under the window, past the dustbins.
It's a complete role reversal for when you were mum and Jonathan was small. Mum, you were out late. Stop.
Where were you all night? Yeah. So, no, it works out very well.
While Joan has quite the social life, she does also find time to spend with the rest of the family. Today the plan is a visit to that Sydney institution, Luna Park. Having a blast.
I love it.
I think Sydney obviously treats the whole family well, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure, yeah. There's so much to do, you know.
So iconic as well.
Is there anything that you miss about England?
Christmas in the snow and the cold, because it's not right in the heat. It's just not right at all.
John?
Oh, I think a pint of real ale. It's probably about the only thing I can't get served at the right temperature. You can get ale, but it's all freezing cold.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think we made the right move, definitely.
Oh, we made the right move, absolutely.
You bought the right house?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Well, yeah, well, we got you to thank for that, haven't we?
Yes.
Well, I did the easy bit. I think you did hard yards. Well, listen, there is something that I know that you also miss from England, and I brought it with me. Hula hoop!
Oh, you're a
You know, she
star.
took both of them then.
Thank you. Fabulous.
What a difference a couple of years make. Not only have they completely transformed the house, they actually seem completely transformed themselves, and none more so than Nana Joan. I think it goes to prove that if you commit heart and soul to it, anyone can make a success of emigrating, young or old. But what I love about this family is the fact that they've all done it together. And if you're thinking of moving and want Kirsty and me to help find you a home, apply online at channel4.com/takepart.
This Sunday on 4, traditional living meets new age ideals, a clash of opinions for brand new Country House Rescue. Join Ruth Watson at 9. Next though, a problem with a passage that's been managed by Curry. Embarrassing bodies on the way.